The judge leading the inquiry into the NHS contaminated blood scandal has called on the government to improve financial support for victims and their families, some of whom he said were living in grinding hardship. Sir Brian Langstaff was speaking on the final day of evidence from people affected by what's been called the worst treatment disaster in the history of the health service. About 3,000 people died and tens of thousands were infected after being given tainted blood products in the 1970s and 80s. Our health editor, Hugh Pym, has been following the inquiry.
Since April, nearly 200 witnesses have given their personal stories to the inquiry. Those infected with HIV and hepatitis C because of their NHS treatment, either for haemophilia or through blood transfusions, and those who've cared for them and lost loved ones. The chair of the inquiry, Sir Brian Langstaff, summed up at the end of this first stage. He addressed the issue of financial support for victims and the bereaved, which varies in different parts of the UK. That's caused widespread resentment, and a year ago Sir Brian wrote to ministers calling for increased assistance. There have been some changes, but he made it clear that ministers should do more.
The grinding hardship of many is not put on hold while the inquiry continues. If, as a number of witnesses have argued, there is in truth no proper justification for the significant variations in financial support as between the nations of the UK, then there can be no proper reason for those variations to be perpetuated to await the outcome of the inquiry.
A government spokesperson said there was a commitment to guarantee equal support across the UK and campaigners would be consulted. But Sue Gorman, whose husband Steve contracted hepatitis C and died last year, said it had to be dealt with urgently.
The government need to accept that by waiting, by keeping us hanging on as they have, that they have created a group of elderly pensioners who need proper taking care of and cannot manage on the sums they give us.
The inquiry will resume early next year, first with medical and scientific experts giving evidence, then with doctors who administered treatments, and then the politicians and civil servants who were in power at the time.